One day a man was walking, maybe this will cheer me up. One day a man was walking along the beach in California. He was deep in prayer, when all of a sudden he said aloud, "Lord, grant me one wish." The sky clouded and a booming voice said, "Because you've tried to be faithful, I will grant you one wish." The man said, "Would you build me a bridge to Hawaii? I'm afraid of flying. I don't like getting on boats either." And so he could just drive over any time he wanted to. The Lord answered, "Your request is very materialistic. Think how much concrete and steel that would take. I can do it, but it is hard for me to justify your desire for worldly things. Take a little more time to think of another wish, a wish you think would honor and glorify me." The man thought for a long time and finally said, "Lord, I wish that I could understand women and how I can make them truly happy." God said, "Do you want that bridge 2 lanes or 4 lanes?" Okay. Anyway, we know that Adam, probably had a problem understanding Eve. She's the first lady I want to talk to in the Bible. And he didn't understand what she did, but he followed along with it. But she was, a woman taken from man, and she was molded and from his rib, not from his head to be above him or his feet to be below him, but from his side to be beside him and be guarded by him and protected by him. And man represents God's image, and woman is his emotions. So together, that makes a totality of God. So that's why we have man and woman. Eve, bless her heart, was only trying to please her husband. She probably fed it to him for supper. I don't know. But anyway, when she ate, the devil deceived her. But he opened her eyes. Even he told her, he said, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. She was a woman. She liked nice things. And God knew she was going to eat the fruit before she even did it. We always know He knows everything. Can y'all hear me okay out there? Mm-hmm. Okay. But she gained the knowledge of good and evil. And she also got a pretty good idea of what God means when He says, "Don't do something." She and her husband were thrown out of the Garden of Eden to fend for themselves. So make sure you know God well enough to listen to Him when He speaks to your heart. Esther was a Jewish woman who became the queen of Persia. The king searched far and wide to find the most perfect woman to be his queen. He did not know Esther was a Jew, but he fell in love with her and made her his queen. But when a man by the name of Haman, who was an enemy of the Jews, plotted to have all the Jews killed, Esther's uncle begged her to go before the king and save her people. The punishment for going before the king without being called was death, unless he held up the scepter. Just can you imagine what courage it took for her to enter that room? But she knew that God was going to be by her side, and she went in with her head held high. And before the guards could kill her, the king held up the scepter and listened to what she had to tell him. If we could all have the courage of Esther, we could do anything. I'd stand up here and preach. I've always said that if I could go back in time, it would be to follow Jesus, listening to his teachings. And Mary Magdalene got to do that. She got to be right by his side, and that just to me would be the most amazing thing in the world. But I'm going to walk with him one day, just not anytime soon, but anyway. But she saw him, she was with him when he went through Galilee, and was, unlike the men who scattered when Jesus was crucified, she stayed by his side. She saw him at the tomb and thought he was someone that had taken her Lord. She pleaded with that person, said, "Please tell me where you've taken him." But Jesus refuses to condemn her. Jesus loved her, and he refused to condemn in her when she was, she had 7 demons in her, and he cleansed her of that. And he even told her many sins must have been forgiven her, or she would not have shown such great love. It says, your faith saved you. Jesus tells her, go in peace. And she just loved him so much. She really did. Mary, the mother of Jesus, was very young when an angel came to tell her that she was going to have a baby. Said, can you imagine how frightened she must have been just to see an angel come in real? But God knew he had chosen a woman of great faith. I heard something yesterday that I want to share with you. Faith and fear do not go together. So if you've got enough faith, you won't fear. Anyway, Mary's a good example of that. To be a woman of faith, you need to have the knowledge about good and evil. Read and study the scriptures. Have courage to go out and spread the gospel. And by all means, as Jesus said, love one another. Amen. Tell your friends and family you love them every day if you can.
Amen.
And that's